I was told there was an app on your phone that you could use to become a native speaker just by using AI. So naturally, I'm going to test it out and see what the actual thing does. So let's turn on our screen recording. You guys can see exactly what's happening in the app itself, and let's have a look at what this thing does. So when you first get into the app, you're going to complete a simple assessment level. So you read a couple of bits of text that's on the screen, and it's going to tell you whether or not, well, what level you're on. I've already completed the assignment, and it's told me that I am, in fact, a native speaker. Fantastic. The app will also show you supposedly where you're mispronouncing by marking it in yellow or in red letters. So supposedly there's quite a few mistakes in a few of these sentences, but what exactly they are, we don't know. So let's practice our first challenge words. That's what the app is, well, giving me.
Let's start. Tap the button below and say the word.
You're.
That wasn't quite right. Listen carefully to how I say it and then compare it to how you said it.
You're.
So this is my first objection with, well, not particularly this app. This app, I think, is built for American pronunciation. Your. So remember, let's try that again. Let's go your. Perfect. That sounds good enough. Let's send that over and let's see what she tells me.
Wow, great changes. Let's move on.
Wow, great changes. Let's move on. So it would have something to do with our pronunciation there. Let's try another one. Interesting. Let's try this one with the American pronunciation. Daughter. It's gonna be 100%.
Wow, good job. I'd say mic drop, but you don't want to break your phone.
100%. This is an American pronunciation app. It also shows you the pronunciation with like fully bolded letters in this fair, but it's really weirdly written. So there. And it's going to be 100%.
Heard you loud and clear.
The problem there is that, again, if we focus on the word there, the American pronunciation is there, which quite literally is TH-air as they rotate. But the British pronunciation is there. It's there. It's a very long one. But overall,
Next,
this is
saying
a
the word below.
pretty interesting one to practice. Let's go through it really quickly. New.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Now, let's try the next word.
Over.
Let's pause to troubleshoot. Listen to the difference in our recordings and try again.
Over.
Right. So you can almost hear the difference, which is that I go for the British pronunciation of over, where the R is silent, whereas they go for the over. So if we try again and we go over, it's now going to convert at 100% probably.
Great improvement. Let's keep going.
I don't know where 99% came from, but
When you're ready, tap record and try this next word.
purchase. It's going to be 100%.
Wow, good job. I'd say mic drop, but you don't want to break your phone. Now, let's try the next word.
Football. It's even written in an American way. Football.
Heard you loud and clear.
God, it can't be real. Ah, that's absolutely horrible. It's abysmal from a
When
British
you're ready,
speaking.
tap record and try this next word.
Flowers. Let's do a really accentuated American accent. Flowers.
Wow, good job. I'd say mic drop, but you don't want to break your phone.
And she also repeats the same stuff. I don't want to say mic drop. I'll break your phone.
Wow, look at these results. Give yourself a pat on the back for a job well done.
Okay. And then you win some stars. It tells you which ones you've done okay. You can even send it to a friend. You have a day streak. That's good. I think that will entice people to learn. Swipe to commit. I'm not swiping anything. A lot of clicking to be done. A lot of that. And that is it. Want to jump into tomorrow's lesson? Intro to R sounds. Well, let's learn the American R, shall we? Start video.
Hi there, welcome back. Today we're going to explore one of the trickier sounds in American English.
Yeah.
The R
So
sound.
100% we have the American English app. I'm going to skip the video here just to go straight to the practice because I think that's what we're here for. What's good is that they show you how to produce the R sound, which is in the app here. What I'm interested in how the practices work. Is there any practice?
Tap record and read the first word. You've got this.
Word. right? So the word we got here is abroad, abroad. But the actual American pronunciation is going to be abroad, abroad. It's not abroad, but abroad, abroad, abroad. And it's going to be 96%.
Wow, good job. I'd
And-
say mic drop, but I don't want to break your phone.
And it's indicating that the D sound at the end wasn't, D enough. Americans do love their D sounds. That's why they say water and butter with a very thick
Let's keep
D.
going. Say the word below.
So currency versus currency. Currency. Currency.
Nailed it. Let's move on.
This is all fantastic. From an app perspective, I think this is a great way, a very simple way, plus you can get a free trial for this app. So I do low-key recommend it. My issue when it comes to learning through apps, specifically like this, and I don't want to diminish the app developer because I understand why they made the app. I think it's fantastic, honestly, has a lot of potential. My frustration is the way the human brain associates these mistakes and corrections. See, I learned my English by listening to real people, listening to my own voice, that was the most important bit, and speaking sentences. I know that the more I progress through this app, the more it's going to start also giving me sentences. So not just words, not just individual sounds, but it's going to start actually giving me a wider variety of options and longer sentences. My frustration here has to do with something called language malleability, okay? If you think about something that's malleable. So for example, in ancient times, you had swordsmiths or blacksmiths, and what they would do is they would put metal into the forge, they would bring it out, and then they would throw it onto the anvil when it was still hot and malleable, and they would be shaping it into armor, into swords, into weapons, right? All kinds of things. The same thing happens in a pottery class. You will take clay, you will soften it with water, and then as it's malleable, you will start to form it into a mug, a pot, a bowl, a plate, whatever it might be. The same way, I believe that language is malleable. That's why sometimes I will have a pronunciation of a word that will be British, and then sometimes I'll also have a pronunciation of a word that will be American. And I believe the beauty of English is your sound signature. And your signature isn't defined by what you pronounce perfect, it's actually what you pronounced imperfect. Now, using apps, I believe that what we're doing, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I believe that AI, whilst it's fantastic, is never going to be as malleable as a natural human's approach will. What the app is going to be fantastic at doing is cloning, meaning this is the correct way of doing it, this is how you're supposed to do it. It will not be able to do this, even though it's the same number, and this is also the same number, AI loses out. I've played around with many different AI apps and different ways that we could learn English. I even have my own AI clone, but that's a clone of me. And it's not there to correct your pronunciation by speaking into it. It's supposed to add conversational value and theoretical, psychological self-improvement information. I think what makes language so beautiful is precisely this malleability, the ability to speak in a variety of sub-accents. What I speak with is this almost perfect British RP, but it's not perfect because it's not British RP for me. I never went out there and said, hey, this is, I want to speak British RP, or received pronunciation. No, I just picked up from different people. So perhaps one word I pronounce the same way that Gordon Ramsay does, and one word I pronounce the same way that Matthew McConaughey from America does, and one word I pronounce the same way that, Michael Caine would do. It's all about that flexibility to copy and pick whatever you want. If, however, we use one of these apps, then we're actually locking ourselves into the pronunciation of a particular word the way the AI and the system behind it has decided to have the pronunciation set as. There's only one solution, only one correct outcome. Now, I'm not a fan of mathematics, but I know that there's usually several different ways to get to the same answer. Same thing is true in languages. This app that I just tested is fantastic. As a matter of fact, if you're trying to learn American English, I recommend that you download it, try the free trial, maybe pay for the first month, play around with it, see how it works for you. But if you're trying to go for something more, if you're trying to actually develop your voice to be fluent and natural, then you have to consume organic natural content. I learned from YouTube, I learned from music, I learned from TV shows, I learned from stand-up comedy, I learned from reading, I learned from cooking shows, I learned from real individuals. And I can now look back at them and figure out where certain influences came from. Think of it like this. Are your idols real people, or are they artificial intelligence? Because if you're inspired by reality, if you're inspired by real individuals, if you're inspired by true artists, why are we trying to learn from AI? AI is fantastic. Artificial intelligence is the future. If you're not using it, you're staying behind. But when it comes to development of your voice, I think you're better off doing the good old-fashioned speaking, imitating, and watching. Until the day comes that I meet an individual that's able to produce a similar level and echelon of voice that I have, and they've learnt it exclusively through using AI, I will stay on the fence about this. And I think this may very well be the hill that I would die on. AI is fantastic. It is absolutely the future. But until they're able to do the organic, the natural, the authentic, I suggest you stick to the good old-fashioned English learning.